I'm Guy Kesterton, the Testing Man, and the Continental Race King is basically the best gravel tyre you can fit to your mountain bike, delivering genuinely road bike style speed with a little more grip than you might be expecting, inline for braking and for driving, but not a great deal of traction in the turns. So, if that sounds like a tyre that you might enjoy, well, listen to the rest of this review. So in terms of stats, 630 grams, so it's pretty light. It's 2.2 inch in the 29er protection version, which is the top end version we're talking about here, in black or brown wall, and it measures up pretty close. I think it's 2.16 for a 2.2, running about 18 psi on a 28mm internal rim. So we'll call that close enough, I think. They're certainly not really underselling you. And black chili compound in a race-specific version, which means it's pretty hard, so it lasts reasonably well. You can see there's a little bit of burring going on those centre knobs, but because you've got this really rounded carcass, those are the knobs it sits on, and these little triangles. I mean, this tread has been going for absolutely ages, and it's just got this real reputation as a hyper-fast XC tyre, and even 4-cross tyre, which it, to be honest, thoroughly deserves. Very, very fast on the trail, very, very fast on rolling resistance tests, right up there genuinely with some road tyres, and like 10 watts. I mean, we're talking like 15 to 18 watts on this tyre compared to other tyres, which is like 24 to 28 in the same category. And a lot of that comes down to the carcass. It's a 3x60 TPI overlap, but also this Race King compound, and they're just the general design of the tyre. This is a very, very quick bit of race rubber. As you might expect, not a lot of grip once you start leaning it onto the shoulder there. There's a little bit more if you can get it right over to that edge in the dry. You have got that shelf of side knobs, but as you can see, they're close enough spaced that if it's dirty, there's quite a lot of plag in there that just creates a shelf that's very, very easy to slide on. So while you can be quite heavy on the power and quite handy on the brakes, I mean, to a surprising degree, actually, I put these on after coming off the Vittoria Peyote, which really, really did need nursing under power and were frankly just fishtailing everywhere under braking. These offer a lot more stiction. You'd be surprised what you can get up to, even on like wet, grassy conditions in terms of technical climbing. And they're all right. They're all right over rocks and roots. Again, it's not as bad as you might expect for a super fast tyre. You need to be careful with them, but they still grip and roll up. And so in terms of just fitting a tyre that pretty much instantly boosts your speed by a couple of gears compared to a trail tyre, and at least a gear compared to a lot of similar looking race tyres, then the Race King is very, very hard to beat. This one's actually been pretty tough too. I had no problem with punctures, had no problems with it at lower pressures, and it's interestingly, in terms of the bike rolling resistance tests, it actually comes out much faster than the Peyote at lower pressures. Similar at high pressures, but we're talking like 40 to 55, like hyper high pressures there. But at more realistic pressures for cross country, certainly in this part of the world, sort of your 25 and below, this tyre actually performs much better. And although I haven't ridden it yet in this version, and I've only just started it in the Speed compound, that's similar to the Schwalbe Rick XC, but that's the tyre that's going on next. But back to the Race King again. Surprisingly durable, big change for the Continental, really, really easy to fit. I had zero problems fitting this onto various rims. I had no problems with the Cross King, which is going to be my next Continental review. And we've also got the Cryptotal, which has been on and off a bunch of different rims. And those tyres, again, no problems. It's very progressive in how they feel throughout the pressure range. And in fact, that Continental Cryptotal runs crazy low pressures without stumbling around a super damp tyre. But that's a different category altogether. That's a 1,050 gram enduro tyre, even though it rolls surprisingly fast. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. This is the third time I've done this video because I keep getting sidetracked. So what I need to say, Continental Race King tyre, blisteringly quick in a straight line without being too treacherous in terms of traction. A little more nervy once you start to lean it in and turn it in, especially if it's wet or slippery or rocky or rooty, but you're saying that about most race tyres, really. It is expensive, but also now at least it seems to be reasonably durable and it fits tubeless wheels really easily, which wasn't the situation with older Continentals. And while it's only available in a 2.2 now, in the protection, those tyres that Pidcock was racing in Paris were apparently a 2.4, as well as being a different compound. So we may be seeing a fatter, more up-to-date version of this tyre coming out soon, which I think could be splendid, because it's still right up there despite being a really old design at a premium price. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you really like what I'm doing here on the channel, then please join my Patreon supporters, whose names are scrolling up at the end. And the other thing to say is, obviously this is my opinion of this tyre, and you might be watching in a completely different part of the world, and you might have a completely different opinion on this tyre, so it'd be great to hear from you guys in the comments, and then we get a much better all-around review. So, thanks for your time, hope you've found it useful, and make sure you keep an eye on the channel for more tyre, tech and bike reviews coming up shortly.